right. All right, folks. Joining me now is Todd Bensman. He has a brand new article out at CIS.org. Check this out. CIS.org. By the way, I told my wife, she's like, who do you have on tonight? I said, Gordon Chang, Colonel Rob Maness, Leo Holman, and Todd Bensman. She said, oh, all my favorites. Well, you got in there. You got in there. Todd, you're one of her favorites. That's true. She has said that before. But she's right. You are one of our favorites. You've been at our Ozarks conference. We've met you in person. We've gotten to know you. There's a relationship and a friendship, and you are one of our favorites. Here is the headline tonight, CIS.org, calling it, America just suffered the first terror attack by a border-crossing illegal alien. Subtitled, Go Ahead, Biden and Friends, Prove Me Wrong. That just came out today by my friend Todd Bensman. Todd, tell our audience about it. It has to do with Quantico, the Marine base in Northern Virginia, right outside of D.C. on the Potomac, does it not?
That's right. On May 3rd, there was an incident there. Two Jordanians who were illegally present in the United States show up in a big box truck posing as Amazon deliverymen. They had no ID, nothing to show that they were actually deliverymen, so they were brought over to secondary inspection, and they hit the gas and tried to ram through on into the base. Thankfully, the Marine, military police put up barriers and stopped the vehicle and arrested them and charged them with trespassing. One of them, it turns out, was a recent border crosser. Another one was reportedly on the FBI's terrorism watch list. It looked like it could be a terror attack from a border crosser. The problem is that in the 2.5-3 weeks since the incident, the Biden administration and all of the involved agencies have refused, for one of the first times ever, to even address the terrorism aspect of this. Would they rule it out that it was terrorism related? Could they say that we're investigating it as a terrorism incident? This is very common. We always do this. We've had this kind of compact between the American people and our federal agencies since 9/11 to tell us when you think this might be a terror attack or you're investigating it as a terror attack. But no, in this case, for 3 weeks straight, they won't even they won't rule out that it was a terror attack. They won't rule in that it was a terror attack. They won't address it at all the way to the White House. So the purpose of my piece today is that in the absence of, any material evidence or statements from the government, that we're left to speculate as best we can. And my best speculation is that they're silent about this because it absolutely was a terror attack, an attempted terror attack by a border crossing migrant who illegally crossed in and was given one of those stamps, you're free to go on your own personal recognizance. The other guy was a visa violation of his visa. He'd overstayed his visa, so he didn't cross the border. But this is a very rare and unusual kind of an attack that we've been warning about. I've written a whole book about this. It's on the wall behind me, America's Covert Border War, that this was a possibility, a rising elevated threat, that we would start to see cases like this where illegals cross the border and they're from, the Middle East. This guy had a Jordanian passport and, try to do things like this. And
well, Todd, what was it? A pickup truck? Was it a paneling truck? What kind of vehicle was it?
It was one of those big box trucks that it had no license plates. It was like, a large delivery truck. They call it a box.
Was there anything in it, or is the government not saying?
It won't say. Nobody will say. All you got to do to make me go away and to make people like you go away and to make all of us go away is to say, listen, we know this was not a terror-motivated attack. Just say it, and we disappear. We're out the back door, man. We're done. We don't have a whole lot more to say about this. Just tell us it wasn't, or tell us it was. Why won't they tell us it was? Well, because the Biden administration, in my opinion, understands that it is in dire trouble in the polls over the immigration issue and the wide open border. It is regarded as the number one problem by all likely voters. And to come out and acknowledge that a border crosser tried to vehicle ram Quantico Marine Base with the FBI training center inside and military criminal investigations and intelligence all headquartered there, that's going to hurt. That's going to hand.
Why would you ram a military base? I mean, obviously you had bad intentions, right? I mean, if you do that, number one, that's dumb, unless you really are like on a mission. So that's number one. Number two, why would you do it with a paneling truck or a big delivery truck? I mean, the obvious question would be, was it loaded with explosives? I mean, isn't that what you think of? You think of Ryder trucks, you think of bombing situations. I mean, is that what was going on there? I mean, is there any indication from anybody on the ground that's leaked the information that, yeah, the truck was really heavy, there was obviously something loaded in that truck? Or no, it was bouncing around, it was obvious the truck was empty?
Right. Well, the question you're asking is like the most obvious question that everybody would ask is what was in the truck. They won't say. I mean, just tell us no explosives were found in the truck, no weapons, no guns were found. Just say that. What's the big deal? Why can't you say that? Why can't you tell the American people that? If there wasn't weapons or explosives in the vehicle, we also have a problem with the vehicle itself, because in recent years, ISIS and Al-Qaeda have been, telling followers, use a truck, run them over, kill them with the truck, kill them with your vehicles. And they have. Nice, France, they used a truck to murder all kinds of, innocent people at a festival, an outdoor festival, killed a lot of people and maimed a lot more. An Uzbek just a few years ago used a truck to murder a whole bunch of New Yorkers on a bike path in New York City. Vehicles are used as weapons now in terror attacks, but even so, at least just tell us, hey, look, there weren't any explosives in this thing. It's not terrorism related.
But you think it is, because you say, but more logic undergirds my conclusions that a border crossing terrorist just struck for the first time due to the border crisis. So you believe this was a terrorist attack or attempted terrorist attack, correct?
I believe it was, and I'm not afraid to go out publicly and say that I think that's my opinion. I worked in intelligence for years. We made assessments like this based on available information. If you look at my subhead there, I'm like, prove me wrong. I'm happy to be completely taken down a bunch of notches on this thing. Prove it. Prove that this wasn't a terror attack. Come out and go on the record and tell us this was not related in any way to a terrorism motive.
How does this fit with this? We talked about with Gordon Chang and with Colonel Rob Manus, the story of a Chechen shot by a special ops colonel. This is where they were posing as reportedly posing as utility workers. There's reason to believe that's not what they really were, according to multiple reports. I'm just going on the reports. And he was apparently surveilling his children. And he encountered one, and apparently he got aggressive, and the Chechen was eliminated. And now we're getting reports that other special forces, special ops soldiers nationwide report being surveilled, especially their families. And then you have what you say is a terrorist attack, attempted terrorist attack on a military installation. There's a common theme here, is there not, Todd?
There is. I don't have any special insight into that incident. We're waiting for more information. I assume we're going to get more information on that case. That just happened. The attack on Quantico has been, it was on May 3rd, and here we are on, May 28th. The month is almost out. The questions have been asked of the White House. In the White House press briefing, they were asked about this. They had a perfect opportunity to say, yeah, don't worry about it. That we know for a fact that is not terrorism. It's a law enforcement issue. We're not going to talk about the investigation, but it's not this. They didn't say that. They haven't said that. The FBI won't say that. ICE won't say it. Nobody, the military won't say it, DOD. And that leads me to believe that it was a terror attack, and they can't say it because it's too politically damaging. And they also can't go on the record saying it wasn't a terror attack, in other words, lie, because that could get them into even more trouble if word of it spreads that it actually was a terror attack and they lied. So I think I'm just using, deduction and basic, reasoning and analysis to figure that this is very unusual, the way that the administration is handling this. They are all in lockstep. They've gotten onto the same page about the messaging, which tells you something else, as I write in the piece, that if they're talking a lot about this internally, and they're coming up with their messaging across the board, across agencies, which is another suggestion to me that it was a terror attack, and they damn well know it.
Wow. ToddBensman.com, ToddBensman.com, or CIS.org. He works for the Center for Immigration Studies. CIS.org is where you'll find this article tonight. CIS.org. If you go to ToddBensman.com, you can find his excellent books where he predicted all of this in advance. They're over his shoulder right there. Border War and Overrun. You'll find them there at ToddBensman.com and on Amazon. Todd, closing comment?
Yeah, I would be very happy I would be thrilled to be proven wrong on my conclusion, because if I am, that means that the American people got more information than they had before that they would have had otherwise. So please, if you're listening to me out there, anybody, prove me wrong. I want to be proven wrong on this. Go for it.
Todd Bensman, as always, thank you for your article, for alerting us today and making yourself available tonight. Thank your family for letting us take you away.
Thank you.
Todd Bensman checking in, ToddBensman.com to get his excellent books.